Ghost notes are the missing ingredient stopping you from having a professional sounding drum part. In today's metal songwriting lesson, I'm going to go over what, how, and why we use ghost notes in our metalcore, gent, thal, and deathcore music. I'll go over 2 different guitar riffs and show you how powerful ghost notes can be over any given beat, and we'll even find a few sections where they shouldn't be used. Before I show you how to incorporate ghost notes in your music, I'm going to give you an example of a drum beat, very plain, and then I'm going to continuously add ghost notes until the beat moves rhythmically. Here I incorporate one accent note to help push the rhythm a bit, though it's still technically not a ghost note. And here I'm going to add ghost notes wherever I feel necessary to help push the beat even more. When the cymbals and the snare and the kick are in the right spots but there's just something missing, adding a little bit of ghost notes, which is basically just very light hits on the drums, push our guitar parts a little bit better. Let's jump onto the computer and I'll show you how to incorporate these into your MIDI metal drums. So it's pretty cool, but it definitely needs a little bit more rhythmic movement. This is basically the same beat that I used in the example, so let's kind of implement those extra hits that we added. So first, before we add the actual ghost notes, let's add some accent hits. So it's important that these extra hits are a little bit lighter than our normal main hits. It's basically that every time. So it is a lot more interesting. I replaced a lot of the kicks with snares just to help push the beat, so it's not just the 2s and the 4s the snares. 1, 2, 3, 4. Having the kick and snare kind of just like have a little relationship there, it makes the part a lot more interesting. But these aren't ghost notes because they're all very high velocity. So to make them ghost note, basically all I'm going to do is I'm going to make my velocity much lower. So you'll see this is the part at the beginning right now. This is my main hit. And this is my main hit. So these two can be way lower. Something like that. So that's a ghost note right there. They're a little bit too soft for this part, so maybe I'll add additional ghost notes. So right now, let me go a little higher. That's way cooler. Same thing, these ones right here. Go quite a bit lower. So basically all the snare hits that aren't on a 2 or a 4 can go much lower. So I'm just going to grab all of them right now. Those ones, and then I'm just going to bring them all lower. Much more interesting than the original one where the snare is just on the 2 and 4. But I still hear that there's a few more ghost notes that we can add. So these ones, I think the lowest ones are at about 67 velocity. I can probably do some extras that are about like 30 or 40 velocity. So usually my principle with adding ghost notes is that they're kind of in between the main hit. So if there's a kick here and then a snare here, there's probably going to be a ghost note either there or right there. Maybe right there. Even right off the bat, these ones probably. So even right there, I want to feel like a little da-da-da, which is these right here. So without them. And then adding the little ghost notes there. Way cooler. It fills in the beat. It's not too much because the velocity is so low that it's just like a subtle thing, but you can definitely hear the difference. So here's the whole part with all the ghost notes added. You can see the ghost notes easily by seeing the velocities that are all down here. All the lower velocities are ghost notes. So ghost notes usually go in between the main hits of a beat. So if say there's like a breakdown, usually there will be the kicks and the snares doing some sort of syncopation, and then ghost notes can go in between when there's blank spaces. So for this next example, we're going to do a breakdown kind of riff, and it sounds like this. Also pretty cool, but very basic right now. So let's add a few more ghost notes and some accent notes and see what we can come up with. Like I said, the easiest way to go about ghost notes is in between the main hits. So we have a kick here, and then there's space in between. So let's just try filling in those spaces with ghost notes. And make sure that they're not all the exact same, otherwise it'll sound kind of strange. So either one, you can either do those doubles or even just one hit like that. And then adding them to the offbeats is usually just like a pocket filler. Instantly way cooler. So either whether you're doing the doubles or just doing singles on the offbeats, it always adds. It always adds. Sometimes you don't want it to add. Sometimes you just want it to be that hectic breakdown. But a lot of times when you're watching a drummer play live, their left hand is like constantly just adding little accent notes because that's just like how they naturally fill out the groove. And it just makes the whole part sound a little bit more interesting. So let's try the second half of the breakdown using the exact same principles that we just went over. So I'm going to put snares in between those main kicks. I'm going to lower the velocity. I'm going to make sure that the velocities aren't the same between the two. Usually like the first one's a little bit softer than the second, but you'll see sometimes you want the second one to be the opposite. Whatever I just said. Putting them on the offbeat there could be really cool. And then building them up. I love doing this. This is kind of like a ghost note to an accent note to a hard hit. That's really cool. So let's listen to the whole thing. So that's the whole idea, adding very low velocity drum hits in between the main hits. Sometimes on the offbeat, sometimes on the onbeat. You'll know when you hear it. If it sounds too busy, just get rid of it. If it sounds cool, keep it. Just use your ears, use your judgment. You'll know what to do. So that's how we go about implementing ghost notes into our metal music, but that doesn't mean anything if we haven't chosen the right beat. So if you want to learn the 17 most common drum beats for metal music, check out this video right here. And if you want to watch any more tutorials on mixing or programming drums, check out this playlist right here. If you found any use in this video, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Let me know down below if there's anything else I can help with. See ya.